Good morning, Rimochela.
Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Rimochela.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah. How are you?
I'm fine, Rimochela. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
yeah. Long
last week
time.
I was busy lah.
No, 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 no. We missed you last week.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rimochela.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So just a few minutes, please. Okay. All right. Sangye chedan zoye chonam lan chanchu pardon dane gyapso chen daye chushe gyebe senam jolam benjire sangye jubara sho sangye chedan zoye chonam la chanchu gyabso chen daye chushe gyebe senam gen jolam benjire sangye jubara sho Sangye chedan zoye chonam janju pardo nani gyabso chen daye chushe gyebe senam ge jolam benjire sangye jubara sho no so shi Chujimendo Dhammairi Ramaire Yende Gemboinde Sangye Jindo Mende Wai Jogun Namano Shino Jumbar Joy Lamang Guru Mendala Kamni Yandara Yaimi. Okay. Okay. Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi. Mhm. Okay.
Can you hear me, Rimochela?
I can hear you very well. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Rimochela.
Yeah. I'm just checking who's online.
Yeah. Thầy
Okay.
đang kiểm
Yeah.
tra xem là đạo hữu nào đang có mặt ở
Okay.
trên lớp ạ.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right. Mm. Okay. Yeah. So, mhm. So we so we were talking about the defects of samsaric life. So whether in samsara we have the six realms, the three higher realms and the three lower realms. Even of course, we know for sure that the three lower realms are suffering, right? And not only the so-called lower realms, but even the so-called higher realms are full of suffering. And we covered that last week. So there was mm, um, the eight uh, mm, um, eight leisure, right? Eight leisure, which is to be born in the human life and to be endowed with the eight leisures, is something it's um, that makes us favorable to practice the Dharma. And so the eight leisure is what we counted last week. We dwelled on that. So on the eight leisure, it talks about the defects of it leisure is basically freedom from the defects. So the flaws in the human life, as well as in the God life. When you are born in the God realm, usually we think to be born as a God is the greatest gift, but then it is not so. So basically, that's what we discussed last week. Yeah. So it's more of a recap of what we covered last week. So we talk about the eight defects of the human, eight defects of mm, the higher realms, or in other words, what is known as the freedom from the eight defects, or sometimes also called the eight leisures, right? Um, so even if you, so does that mean like if we are endowed with the eight leisures and the 10 freedoms. That's what we have, right? The 18 leisures and the freedom. That's what we are endowed with. So even if we have such a conducive human birth, does that mean everything is like perfect and no need to worry, no need to practice? No, that's not the case. As long as you are in samsara, even if you're free from the 8 defects, you still need to work hard. And the reason is because samsara is so much uncertain. Yeah, uncertain. So this is what we are going to cover today. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we covered last week. That the samsara is uncertain, the uncertainty of samsaric life. So that the so-called father that we are so much devoted, the father, right? The father is, from my point of view, is a father, but from my perspective, it's a father. But from the grandfather's point of view, he's the son. And from the wife's point of view, he's the husband. And from the rival's point of view, he's the enemy, etc. So the person whom we love and care for so much, who we regard as maybe the kindest person in the world and very good and everything, but from another person's point of view, he's something else. And then, so basically, nothing is certain in samsaric life. It seems like it's certain. It's when we have an enemy, we hate with the bottom of our heart. When we have a close one, we love them with the bottom of our heart. But that person is not what we think they are. The person you love so much may be good to you, but actually be very cunning or evil person to someone else, and vice versa. The person who seems to be very bad towards you may be very good to someone else. So basically, samsara is like that. So what you believe to be true is not true. What you hold to be the ultimate reality is not the ultimate reality, and it's just your perspective. So the next 2 verses are so today's verse I will read them in Tibetan first. Rere gyatso shivel hawaii oma tungde tadun soso yi gyo jesu dabe poape tewe choma ni chi tungcelo. Verse number 67, and then verse number 68. Rere da ni rube pungbo ni lumbo nyamba ni chi de gyurde mai tukda yashu tsiku tsam rilu jangyang sai langmi gyorus. So the verse number 67 in English is that, know that every being has drunk more milk than all the 4 great oceans could contain. And still, by emulating common folk, they will circle, drinking ever more and more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Then the next one, a heap of, I think you already translated in Vietnamese,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So a heap of old, I will read the English one. So the verse number 68. So 67, that one. Then the 68, a heap of all the bones each being has left would reach to Meru's top or even higher. To count one's mother's lineage with pills the size of berries, the earth would not suffice. So basically, it's telling, yeah. So the meaning of these 2 verses is that not only the samsara is uncertain, that wives have been daughters, daughter has been mother, mother has been grandmother, and so on and so forth. Not only that, and not only in that sense, but also your mother has been a dog, right? And your enemy has been your wife, and your loved one has been your employer. So many things. So basically, nothing is certain, right? In the midst of all that, if you are to, when we are born in samsara, because we are in samsara for so many lifetimes. So when we are born in samsara, our samsaric life, we have, especially when we are born in the human realm as a mammal, then we drink milk. So for the number of human lives that we have had taken, we have been born into, is innumerable. How many times we were born as a human being, that is innumerable, infinite number. So therefore, each time we are born as a human being, then we come from the mother's womb and all that, and then we have to drink. We drink mother's milk. So the amount of milk that we have drunk, the amount of milk that we have drunk from our mothers, right? Not one or two mother from this lifetime or the earlier, the past life, but from the past, like countless lifetime. So that number of milk that we have drunk in the past is infinite. So if you are to, so that's a metaphor of if you are to pour all the milk that we have drunk in our previous life into a great ocean, right? So there's a reference to four great ocean in the Indian mythological saga. So and so basically, if you are to pour all the water into, so all the milk into the ocean, into the container which is containing the ocean right now, even that will not be enough. So basically, it's saying that this is a reference to mother sentient beings. All the sentient being has been our mother in our past life. Okay, so in our previous lives, so this is that we have drunk more milk than that can fill all of the ocean, right? So this comes from the Buddhist reference, especially in the Mahayana teachings, a reference to bodhicitta practice. Okay, bodhicitta practice. So in the bodhicitta practice, what we are talking, the difference from the Hinayana practice, or the so-called Hinayana or the Theravada practice. Another term is the Charvaka practice. The Charvaka practice, the Mahayana practice, or the Bodhisattva practice, right? And the Vajrayana practice. Charvaka, Mahayana, or Bodhisattva, and then Vajrayana. The three lineages of the Buddha, three lineages from the Buddha's time, right? Charvaka, Bodhisattva lineage, Charvaka lineage, Bodhisattva lineage, and the Vajrayana lineage. They are not contradicting each other, but they are different from each other. Okay, so one can practice all three, but one can practice just one. Anyway, so in the Charvaka lineage is what is today known as the Theravada. In the past, it's also called the Hinayana. So anyway, so during Buddha's time, a large number of the Buddha's followers, the monks, okay, large number. Actually, the majority of the monks at that time, majority of the practitioners at that time are the Charvaka followers, or what is known as Theravada system today. So Theravada is also known as the early Buddhist or the classical Buddhist as well. Okay, so in the Theravada, so the understanding is this: so we were in samsara, and samsaric life is so difficult, so challenging, so much suffering, and you want to get out of samsara, and that's that. What happens to everyone else is not my business. It's not my. It's not something for me to worry about. It's too bad that other people are suffering, but I can only speak for myself. I can only take care of myself. So everybody else, I'm so sorry, you are suffering, but I will do my best to get myself out of this mess, right? So that's the point. And at that point, that path is known as the pratimoksha. Okay, pratimoksha means self-liberation. Prati means self, moksha means liberation, or so pratimoksha, the self-liberation path. So later on, like from the Nagarjuna's time, Nagarjuna was one of the biggest proponent for that. The path of the Bodhisattva, or the so-called Mahayana path, became more popular. So it deviates from the classical Buddhist approach of self-liberation, just wanting to become a Buddha, to be enlightened for myself. So it deviates, it diverts from that path, the classical Buddhist path, and then it goes to say, I want to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. So basically, you are minding other people's business as well. So that's the deviation. So all this is based on the understanding, the concept of mother sentient beings, that all sentient beings were our mother in the past. So it comes from that understanding. So this new concept, this deviation from the classical or original Buddhist path of taking care of yourself, and it deviates into taking care of all sentient beings. So this came much later. Even though when the Buddha gave the teaching, Buddha did give the teaching of the the Bodhisattva path, or what is popularly now known as the Mahayana path, uh, and as well as the Vajrayana path and the Sharvaka path. All the teachings were given by the Buddha, but Buddha did not make any distinction. So when he was giving to a certain a particular person who has the who was leaning towards the who is leaning towards the Sharvaka point of view, he gave the Sharvaka teaching. To those who lean towards different lineages, different um, viewpoint. So he gave different teachings like that. But he didn't make the distinction like, okay, this is a Mahayana teaching, this is a Hinayana teaching, this is a Vajrayana teaching. He never distinguished like that. This distinction, this sort of discrimination came much later. Even the term Hinayana, so-called Hinayana, is a term used by, it's not an original term. It's used by, most likely, by some of the Mahayana proponents, because Hina means lower, so lower vehicle and the higher vehicle, right? The great vehicle. So Maha means great vehicle. So vehicle is like the ride, the car, to go to get from this place to the situation, to the state where you are living right now, from this place to the state of Buddhahood, to enlightenment. So that is known as a ride, a vehicle, a car. So the great car and the small car. So calling the Sharvaka path a small car is a sort of a derogatory term, right? Disrespectful. So today we use the term Theravada, even though Theravada is not the right term also, because Theravada is actually only one of the 18 sects that came out during the Buddha's after the Buddha's passing away. So when Lord Buddha passed away, the monastics, the monks, the Sangha members were disintegrated, okay, divided into 18 different sects. And one of those sects is called Theravada. So Theravada is only one of the 18 sects. So it does not speak for all of the classical Buddhist followers. It speaks only for one sect. But the Sharvaka lineage that is very popular all over the world right now, like Thailand, Sri Lanka, Burma, and all that, it's actually a Sharvaka Sharvaka Buddhist lineage following the Theravada system. So Theravada is only one of the 18 different groups within the Sharvaka lineage. Does not speak for all of them. But right now, because this is the only Sharvaka lineage remaining, so right now people usually say Mahayana and Theravada, thinking that Theravada speaks for all classical Buddhism or Sharvaka Buddhism, which is not correct. But in any case, okay, the point is there's a deviation from self-liberation to liberate for the sake of all sentient beings. So the reason, so because of that, when the Mahayana teachings become more popular, there was a lot of criticism from the classical Buddhist, or what is known as Theravada Buddhists in today's time. The fact that the criticism was that Mahayana teachings, all the Buddhist Mahayana teachings, were a figment of imagination, creative imagination by scholars like Nagarjuna and Asanga and so many others, that this is not part of the actual Buddha's teaching, because Buddha never spoke of something like that. So it is because of masters like Nagarjuna, who is very creative, very talented. So they just make up those kind of things. And because when we talk about the Mahayana teachings, we're talking about bodhicitta. And then by practicing bodhicitta, when we learn the stories of the bodhicitta is basically someone who has bodhisattva is someone who has a bodhicitta, right? body-mind. If you have a bodhicitta, you become a bodhisattva. So in the Mahayana teachings, they talk a lot about the bodhisattvas who, for hundreds of for hundreds of thousands of years, they always come back to samsara, work for the sentient beings, even if they have the potential to be liberated to become a to become an arahat or attain nirvana. They skip nirvana, then they remain in samsara to help all the other sentient beings like that. And then the patience the bodhisattvas have, the tolerance the bodhisattvas have, the wisdom the bodhisattvas have, and the magnanimity that the bodhisattvas have. All this seems so far-fetched, so imaginative. It's so hard to believe that someone can do something like that. And so therefore there was criticism that this is not part of Buddha's teaching. And then because in the Mahayana teaching, it also talks about the pure lands, okay, the pure realms. So the concept of pure realm does not come in the Theravada teaching. It only comes in the Mahayana teachings and in the Vajrayana teachings. So the pure realm, when you talk about the pure realm, by being in the by being born in the Amitabha's pure land, you will have no suffering, no pain, etc., etc., etc. It's so hard to accept. Because if you are in samsara, then as long as you have a samsaric, as long as you are not escaped from samsara, no matter which place you are in, you still have to suffer. So to be born in a certain place, in a place of a certain Buddha, like Amitabha Buddha or Medicine Buddha, and then to be free from all kind of suffering is so hard to take. So therefore, many of the classical Buddhists, they criticize the Mahayana teaching, saying this is not true. But then what you have to understand is that the hardship, the challenges, the difficulty that the bodhisattvas that you take in the bodhisattva's path, right? If you take that much of challenges, if you work that hard, then of course, if you work as hard as a bodhisattva, then of course the result, the fruit, will also be as great as it is described in the Mahayana teachings. Okay, so now the next verse. Okay. Anyway, so basically, so why the deviation? Why instead of working for just yourself, why work for all sentient beings? Why work for your neighbors? Why work for your colleagues? Why work for your enemies? People who kill you, people who do bad things to you. Why you do that? So this has to come. So why all the sentient beings, right? All the and so to understand that, we add one more word, mother. So it's not all sentient beings; it's all mother sentient beings. So just like your mother in this lifetime is kind, generous, and you are grateful to her because of your mother. You were able to survive. You were able to come into this world, and of course, you're both parents. But we have we have a natural sort of instinctive clinging or love and sort of a closeness-ship towards our mother. So mother sentient beings. It can be, for some people, it can be the father, because some people have a closer relationship with their father than their mother. So it can, but the point is that your parents were kind and generous. The generosity and the kindness and the compassion and the love that your parents have, and the closeness and the relationship that you share with your parents in this lifetime, just like that, all the sentient beings have been your mother in your previous lives. And to prove that, basically this comes to life after life, and the past life and the future lives, that this is not the only life. This is not the only life. When we die, we don't go into oblivion. We don't just disappear. We die, we just change our body. It's like changing our room from one room to another room, from one car to another car. So the car is changed, the room is changed, the hotel is changed, but the tenant, the passenger, is not changed, the same. It just keep going on like that. So Just like your current parents are kind and generous to you, all the other parents in your previous life are also kind and generous to you. Just because it's been so long and it happened in a previous lifetime, it happened in a very distant memory, you do not remember them. Just because you cannot recall them does not mean it does not exist. Hmm? And the reason why all sentient beings are your mother is the fact lies the fact is that in your previous life, okay, this life has a previous life, right? This life didn't come from nowhere. It has a previous life. Then it has a previous life means that life also has a previous life. That one also has a previous life. And in many of our previous lives, we were born as an insect, like we were born as a chicken, we were born as an insect, we were born as a bull, like that. And in many lifetimes, we were born as a human. So there are multiple lifetimes we were born as a mammal, uh, uh, drinking milk and all that. So whenever we were born as a mammal, we were always taken care of by our parents. And then because we have had innumerable lifetimes, right? This is not the first life we have. This is not the only life. In our previous life, we need a mother. In that previous life, we need another mother. In that previous life, we need another mother. Uh, so in every lifetime, we need a mother, and that mother needs a mother, which is our grandmother, which needs a mother, which is our great grandmother. So great 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 grandmother. So if you just calculate only 10 generations, right? If you come from a, if all 10 generations come from distinct ancestor, okay, then you need 5,000 people to at least have 10 generations. To have a 10 distinct generation, you need about 5,000 people to make yourself come to this world, like that. So because your grandfather needs a grandfather, grandfather also needs a grandfather, and grandfather also needs a grandfather, like that. So if you count in like that, it will be thousands of people just to make you come to this world. If you only go for 10 generations, like that, if you go for 100 generations, then it's going to multiply even more, like that. So therefore, in every lifetime, you need a father, a grandfather, a great grandfather, great great grandfather, like that, an ancestor, like that. And so therefore, uh, if all the sentient beings, if you have to hire someone to be your grandfather, where would you them, look for them? Unless you hire all the sentient beings, there is no way you can find your mother and father in your previous lifetime. So no matter how truthful it sounds, or how it sounds like an imagination, right? But no matter how practical it sounds or not, but for a Dharma practitioner, when you think of all sentient beings as your mother, when you uh, uh, convince yourself that all the sentient beings has been your mother in your previous life, then your determination to work for the sentient beings, to your determination to work for all the people, including your enemies, people you dislike, and the strangers, people you have no idea about, also increases. Because when you are living in the world, you're not only dealing with your loved ones and your circle, okay? Your circle is very few people, maybe 10 people. At the most, you have like 50 people that you are very close with. Everybody else who you're not close with is a stranger, is an enemy, not enemy, but like someone who you don't like. Most of the people that you interact in the world are stranger to you, right? Your taxi driver, the pilot, the hotelier, the restaurateur, everybody is a stranger to you. The people who are close to you are maybe 10 people, at the most 50 people very close to you. I think no more than 50 people very close to you. And the world has 8 billion, 7 billion people. 7 billion people, most of them are stranger to you. So if you develop compassion for all sentient beings, then you can live peacefully with all the sentient beings, all the human world. 8 billion human being, 7 billion human being, you can live peacefully with them. If you develop just a self-centered attitude just for yourself, then you can live peacefully only with 10 people, your loved ones, or 50 people at most. That's it. And then it's very difficult if you have a self-centered attitude. Even with those 50 people, you cannot live peacefully. Yeah. So therefore, to have this, whether it's true or not, whether all sentient being has been your mother in the past life or not, from a realistic point of view, doesn't matter, because here we are trying. It's called a practice. So from a practice point of view, when we regard all sentient being as our mother, then our practice become much stronger, much more effective. Then it becomes easier for us to develop compassion and love for all the people, especially people who we dislike, who we have disagreement, like that. So just like the milk, then whenever we were born, when we die, we leave the bones and the flesh behind. So if all the bones that we have left behind were to collect it, it will reach each of us, okay, not just all of us, but each of us, our bones, our remains will be higher than that of a Mount Meru. So Mount Meru is a so think of Mount Meru as Mount Everest, which is the tallest mountain in the world today. So if we collect all the bones that we have gathered in our previous lifetimes, then it will be higher than that of Mount Meru or Mount Everest. Mount Meru is not Mount Everest, okay, but Mount Meru is disputed sort of it's spoken in the it's a mystical mountain, okay. So we cannot find it with our naked eye in today's world. You have to find it through mystical method. Anyway, so if you gather all the bodies, it will be higher than that of Mount Everest. Okay, so from now this until verse number 76, it's basically a comparison, a relative, like a comparative study. Like we have been there, but then we go here. We've been here, then we go there, here and there, here and there, here and there, like that. So basically, once again, talking about the uncertainty of samsaric life. We have been the richest man in the world, and then we have become the poorest man in the world. We have been gods. We are born as dogs, etc., like that. So I will just read it from verse number 67, 68 towards verse number 76 in Tibetan first, and then I will go. I will just go briefly with the English verse. Okay. Okay, this one 69 to 76. Jajin jikden chu yu ne le ye wang ye jen sa de long ko le jo wa ni do ju ne jang ho da do yang de ni do ju to re bu ne no ma ge ba la re be de wa yu de nyon ne la ra ne wa ta ju wang be ju wo ye de wa shi do mi se den ze lo kan be re be ne ba de so bo le be bo la yu ne ne la ya me mo ro nya ju wa ye do ne me se pa nyam ge ze lo to re bu ne no shen ga wa da na ba ze se ba ze la da ma re ji da ze na nam gi ka la na wa na ju do ba ra ju ro de ye ba ba la ye bu mo ni dong ze se ge be ma de ju ne la ya ni we chu ra me ba cha wo su la chu zen ju ze lo la yu de shi to chen bo la chang ni cha zhe de wa dom ne la na me me bu shen gyu be yi dong nian ju me che ba den ze lo ni ma da wa ni to ba rang lu gi we ye ji gen ta da na ji de la ya me na mo lu chin ju ne rang ye la ba jiang wa mi tong ju ru de da nong ba ju ze su nam ne nam su man me na wa ra shi shi chi bo ni ma da we mi zi we me na ta ye nang do ju ze lo. So verse number 69 to 76. So 69. So Indra, so verse number 69. So English, I'm reading the English now. Indra is regarded in the in Indian in the Dharmic mythology, Buddhism as well as the Hinduism. Indra is the god of the god. Okay, so we have been born as god of the god. We have been born as God, not only God but God of the god, like king of the god. We have been the emperor of the god. But after our karmic karma is exhausted, our positive karma is exhausted, and because as Indra, we didn't do any good, we exhaust all our positive karma. Then only remaining karma is the negative karma. Then we were born once again in the hell realm to suffer as a slave, as a hell being, suffering for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years. When we were Indra, we enjoy for tens of thousands of years, and then we exhaust all our positive karma, and then we suffer for tens of thousands of years. And verse number 70, when we are born as an Indra, we enjoy the most beautiful heavenly maidens, the angels from heaven, who are, the most beautiful to look, most beautiful to, how to say, uh, wonderful to touch, right? Wonderful to touch, wonderful to look, wonderful to touch, kiss, and enjoy all these things. So the sense, the five senses, the touch sense is so smooth and buttery, so beautiful to touch the angels like that. And then when our positive karma is exhausted, then we're born in the hell realm. Then everything we touch is so coarse, so rough, and every touch you make, it pierces you, it cuts you like that. When you're in the heaven realm, every touch that you have is so brings joyful sense to you, right? Then, and when you're born in the heavenly realm, everything you touch brings pain to you. So like that, these two contradicting. Yeah. Verse number 71. So as a god in the heavenly realm, then you're on the top of the Mount Meru. You're on the top of the world, as we speak in today's term. You're on the top of the world, enjoying everything. Everything comes to you. Everybody bows down to you, respect you like that. And then when your positive karma is exhausted, then you go to the bottom of Mount Meru, or in other words, you go to hell realm. Everybody disrespect you. Everybody push you down, and you suffer every step you take. Every breath you take is suffering pain. You see your body, like half of your body is rotten, your flesh is rotten, but still your employer makes you work hard. And whatever pitiful state you are, your employer, your boss, your whoever is tormenting you, your king, your leader, does not have compassion for you. They make you work harder, no matter how hard you are suffering. Verse number 72 and 73. So when you are born, when you are in the heavenly realm, there's a garden called the Garden of Joy, joyous garden. So you are in the Garden of Joy, nice smell from the flowers, nice fruits to eat, and everything you just want. The heavenly maidens, the servants in the heavenly world, beautiful, beautiful angels or handsome gentlemen. If you are a female god, if you are a male god, you have female looking after you, or if you whatever you are into. If you are into male, you have male. If you are into female, you have female. Everybody taking care of all your five senses, making you joyful. But then after you exhaust all the negative, positive karma, then in the hell realm, then everything that you desire is not fulfilled. Everything the opposite of your desire. If you want male, you don't have male. If you want female, you don't get female. If you want a son, you don't get a son. If you want a daughter, you don't get a daughter. Instead, you get something else. If you want cold, if you are feeling hot and need coolness, you get more heat. If you're feeling cold and need more heat, it becomes colder. So basically, whatever you desire, the opposite keeps coming like that. Verse number 74 talks about the realm of the Kamaloka gods, Kamalok. So Kama, without the Ra, like Karma, karma is action, right? We talk about the law of causality, cause and effect, karma, right? If you remove the R, just Kama, Kama means desire. It can be a sexual desire, basically carnal desire, sensual desire, want to have a partner, want to have food, want to have good clothes, this kind of thing. The desire, that's kama, kama. Have you heard? You heard the you have heard of the book called Kama Sutra, which is on erotic, sort of describe like sexual acts. Kama Sutra. So Kama means desire. Sutra means book, Kama Sutra. So like that, the Kamaloka god. So Kamaloka god is of all the gods in the Kamaloka is the lowest of all the gods. Okay, even in that lowest, in the god realm, the lowest god realm, the bliss, the joy that they enjoy is much better than that we're enjoying, because when we eat something, when we touch something, when we have a sexual desire that we execute, right? We are unable to derive the maximum joy from it. Whether you are eating something, whether you are enjoying Because if you know the full length and breadth of that, but the full depth of that particular object or a person, then when you are engaging in a desirous act with that person or with that thing, you can derive full maximum enjoyment out of it. If you do not know the full secret or the full depth, then the joy that you get is also much less. So the world that we live in, right? We do not understand the world fully. So because of that, the joy that we derive is also much less. It's like when you are young, if you are engaged in sexual activity, or if you eat food, everything, you can derive more joy out of it. But if you become very old, then you may, whatever food you are offered to, you may have the money to buy food, but the food doesn't taste good because your taste bud has already degraded, and your body is not as agile and athletic as it was when you were much younger. So whatever activity you engage in is also basically you are unable to derive the maximum benefit when you become old or when you're very young, right? But when you are like youthful in your 20s and 30s, then you can enjoy the good food, enjoy sexual activity, you can enjoy basically sensual pleasures. Can be the maximum sensual bliss or pleasure can be enjoyed when you are much younger, like youthful state. When you are too young, you don't know. When you are too old, you cannot experience that. So like that, in the Kamaloka, human beings cannot experience all of the joy, that sensual joy that is there in the desire realm. But if you're born as a Kamaloka god, you can enjoy all of that. But even as a Kamaloka god, after living in the world of the Kamaloka, or the Kama means desire, Loka means world, desire world. A god of a desire world is known as Kamaloka god. So even after you exhaust all the positive karma, okay, after positive karma, then the negative karma starts to manifest. So then the Kamaloka god now is born in the heavenly, from heavenly to now it goes to the hell realm. So hell realm, they're born in a hell called Avicii. So some of the young ones in the audience, maybe you know of the Avicii. Avicii is a great music band player. The person he died. He produces great music. Okay, he died like I don't know many years ago. He's a very famous music producer, singer. So Avicii, that name, that music band, he brought that name from the Sanskrit word Avicii. So Avicii is infernal hell. Of all the hell realm, there's 18 divisions of hell realm. So the lowest of the lowest, the most torturous of all hell realm is called Avicii's hell, or the infernal eternal flame, or sorry, not eternal flame, infernal infernal hell. That is what it refers to as. So basically burning constantly, right? So Avicii, that's what it's called. So from Kamaloka to Avicii. Yeah. So the Avicii music is very the interesting, because he doesn't use any offensive or dirty language in his music, okay? But he is so famous all over the world, especially for youngsters, today's youngster, without using any inflammatory words, language, and then not using any abusive words, especially dirty words. It's very difficult, right? But he creates very good music. Yeah. So you can try if you are not aware of. So verse number 75 is whether you were born as a sun or the moon, whose body is light. So basically what it refers to is in the once again in the Dharmic mythology, whether it's Buddhism or Hinduism. So basically most of these mythology is the Buddhism is borrowed from Hinduism. Okay, so I usually use the term Dharmic mythology. So the concept of sixth realm, not the concept of sixth realm, sorry, the concept of the Devaloka, which is the god realm, and the asuras and all these things. So it's borrowed from the anyway. I believe it's borrowed from Hindu mythology. Anyway, we call it, we use it commonly within both Buddhism and Hinduism. So you can say the Dharmic mythology, right? So, so in any case, in the Dharmic mythology, sun and moon are considered gods. Okay, the sun god and the moon god. So, so when you are because of your positive karma, you were born as the sun and the moon. And the sun is the brightest during the day, and the moon is the brightest during the nighttime. So that's why I have some, for me, I have some reservation in this thing, because moon doesn't have a light of its own, right? According to our understanding. But in the past, people believed that moon shines on its own. Like sun is shining, sun has a glow, and moon also has a, we believe that moon has a glow. And but now we know that the moon's light, the so-called light from the moon, comes from the reflection. It's basically the light of the sun. The sun's light is reflected on the moon, and that's how moon is brightened. We believe in the past that sun is brightening the day, and moon is brightening the night. So basically, sun and moon are the example for brightness in the past. So basically, you were born as a sun, you were born as a moon in your previous lifetime, so bright. But then when your karma is exhausted, then you go to the hell realm, the darkest of the darkest hell realm, where you cannot even see your own hands, like that. So basically, it's a metaphor of when you are happy and enjoying, even if you are in a very gloomy kind of a room, it feels so bright and so colorful. But when you are suffering, then you may be outside in the sun, but everything seems so gloomy, right? So it's basically your perspective. Anyway, so this is what it's referring to. Yeah, from a sun and moon to not even to be bright as a sun, from a state where you are as bright as the sun and moon, and to a point where you cannot even see your own hands. Okay. So the last verse that we covered today is, so thus is you all ill. And knowing this, please seize the lamp of merit's triple form, for otherwise you will plunge and go alone in deepest dark, unlit by the sun or the moon. So we all ail from this. We are all suffering from this, meaning we're all suffering from the samsaric, we all ail from the samsaric condition, right? We may, so because of that, right now we have the opportunity, we have the lamp of merit, okay? We may not have the sun or the moon in our hand, but we have the lamp, okay? Not too bright, but bright enough to show the path. The bright of what is the name of that lamp that we have in our hand? The lamp is called the lamp of merit, because of all the good merit, positive merit that we have accumulated in the past. So it's called the triple form of merit. So merit from listening to Dharma, contemplating on Dharma, and putting into application the Dharma. To learn Dharma, to study Dharma, to learn meaning to hear the Dharma from somewhere else, or to read a book, and then to to study, meaning not just hear it from somebody one time, but you actually do your own contemplation. You also put your thoughts into it, and then you put into application what you have learned. So this is the triple step. So the merit gained from learning, contemplating, and putting into application the Dharma. So this merit is metaphorically referred to as the lamp. So that lamp we have within us. So we must use that lamp so that we are not sink down all the way where there is no sun and moon. So sun and moon here refers to positive karma. Yeah. So when there is no sun and moon, we still have the lamp of merit, so we can guide our way out of samsara. Okay, so then we conclude here today. with on a positive note that we have the lamp of merit with us. Yeah. And then so today the lamp of merit is the dedication that we make. Okay. So let's make a dedication now. All the merits that we have gathered today by listening, engaging in the Dharma talk, for me to speak and for you to listen, all the merit that we have gathered, we dedicate it for all the sentient beings, for happiness for all the sentient beings, for the peace to prevail in the world, yeah, and for understanding and tolerance in the world, yeah, and then in our day-to-day life also, may there be a lot of wisdom to tackle the challenges that we have in our life, like that. Gewa de ye nyu do da la ma sang ge zhu gyu ro nen zhuo wa jie jia ma le bang ke ge sa ge ba ra zhuo zhen zhuo zhen zhuo zhen bo jie ma jie ba nam ge gyu ra ge ba nian ba me ba ra yang gong nian gong du be wa ra shuo ni me zhe when der jin 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 me gen be one boy john be yang de boy mo de jo man ze sang when kan jin gen be zun gen zong gan bo Lord, Son, time, be shine, my soul, wanted. Lord, Son, time, be shine, my soul, wanted. Then be yin bo zi ben ben la xin na man do yu gun la chang ju. Love Zan Ju Yi Gam Zu Cho Gun Do Den Gen Zho Den Tam Ba Ran Su Wan De.
Thank you Rinpoche La.
Thank
Cảm
you,
ơn,
Chi Wang. Thank you. Come on, Chi Wang. Yeah,
cảm ơn tất cả anh chị em.
yeah.
Thank you very much,
I hope
Rinpoche La.
you,
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I
Thank
hope
you, Brother
Rinpoche
Hon.
La
Thank you.
will
Thank
come
you.
to visit Vietnam.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll try. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Esther from Singapore. Are you still there, Esther? Esther is the student of the Rinpoche.
Yes,
Esther,
yes,
I will
yes.
share with you the record with you.
We
Maybe
are
check
looking
on the
for
website of the YouTube of Rinpoche La.
to see
Yeah.
Rinpoche La.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rinpoche La.
Thank you, Brother Hon.
you,
Yeah.
Rinpoche La.
Bye-bye.